Good morning, guys, and welcome again to Plant Powered Fitness Munich. Today what I'd like to talk about is a technology that I've been using for several years now, something known as binaural beats. You may have heard of it, very much in vogue at the moment, especially in the last 2 or 3 years. And binaural beats are something that are often used in conjunction with meditation as a way of reducing stress in the very stressful world that we live in these days. You can get binaural beats on apps, Google Play or Apple Store or whatever. You can download them onto your phone, which is very, very useful. I've got an Android phone, so I've downloaded mine through Google Play, my binaural beats, and I'll show you the app that I use and some of the programs that are on there. But the idea of the binaural beats is that you load these apps down onto your phone. You have to use headphones when you're using binaural beats, because the idea is that you get a very low frequency tone fed into your auditory system. The auditory range for human beings is between 20 hertz and 20 kilohertz. And the frequencies that you're talking about when you're dealing with binaural beats typically tend to be under 20 hertz. So normally these tones would be outside of the human auditory range. So the way that they produce these tones is they send 2 different frequencies into your auditory system via your headphones. So for instance, to give you an example, you might get 300 hertz sent into your left ear, 280 hertz into your right ear at a slightly different phase, producing and combining those 2 frequencies and taking the difference of them, producing a tone that's within those lower frequency ranges. So, with the lower frequency ranges, we're looking at, say, for instance, delta waves, which typically would be 1.5 hertz to 4 hertz. That's the kind of frequency that you would be, that your brain state would be in when you're in a sleep state. Then you have the theta waves, which are between 4 hertz and 9 hertz, which again is during typical sleep phases, depending on the phase of sleep that you're in. Then you're moving into alpha waves, which is between 9 and 14 hertz, which again is a state, it's not a sleep state, but it's a very relaxed state. And then at the upper end of the frequency range in terms of the brain, you're looking at the beta waves, which are the active waves between 15 and 40 hertz typically. And beta waves are where you would be if you were in a situation whereby, for instance, you were at work, you were working on a project, you've got a deadline, you've got to get it done, your thought processes are in full motion, you'd be in beta state. The thing is, those beta states are more of a high stress state. So, for instance, production of cortisol, say, for instance, which as we know can be very detrimental to the physical well-being of human beings, would be in those higher frequency states. And the problem that we've got these days in the modern world that we live in is that people find it very difficult to bring their frequency states lower. We're in a constant state of fight or flight. So that's very bad when it comes to wanting to sleep, say, for instance. If you can't lower the frequency of your brain down naturally, or you've got a very stressful environment that you live in, or a very stressful job and lots of pressures, it might be that binaural beats could be very useful in terms of assisting you to bring those brain waves down to a much lower frequency so that you can relax properly. I've found them tremendously beneficial. I think probably the one that I've found most beneficial is the insomnia program, which is a 38-minute program that runs on the particular app that I use. Runs for 38 minutes at lower frequency, and you find that if you're in a situation whereby you've fallen asleep at night and you wake up at 2 or 3 a.m. or whatever, if you pop your headphones in and run that program and just stick with it, just try and relax your mind and stick with it and let the auditory tone do its job, it can take you into a very deep sleep quite quickly. In fact, even if you're very anxious, if you just listen to the whole program and then just lie down and let things take their course, you will find that you go into deep sleep. I can vouch for that from my own experience. And a lot of scientific researches that have been done on binaural beats as well tend to back that up. These things do actually work. There's another useful program as well that they run on there, which is the Schumann resonance frequency program. Schumann resonance is the frequency that the Earth emits naturally with no interference whatsoever. And because of all the interference we have in the world that we live in, all around us, we've got Wi-Fi signals, we've got electrical poles here and everywhere. We've now got 5G, which is a very, very high frequency pattern. We've got all this interference around us, and what it tends to do is it blocks out the natural frequency of the Earth, which human beings are naturally synced in with. So we don't get enough of Schumann resonance frequency. So for instance, as I say, on my particular app that I've got, there's a Schumann resonance program that runs at that frequency for 20 minutes. So in the mornings, what I quite often do is before I go on my power walk, or if I decide on a particular day not to do my power walk, I'll do a Schumann resonance frequency meditation instead, so that I get my dose of the natural frequency that the Earth emits. There are many other programs as well for various purposes. There's a creativity program. There's an hallucination program that people might find quite interesting, quite funny as well, good fun. Different frequencies to put your brain into different states, depending on where you want to be. And as I say, it's a tool that I found extremely useful. If you Google binaural beats, you'll see that there are many papers, scientific researchers that have done now backing up that these binaural beats may well have very, very positive consequences for people's general well-being. The thing that appeals to me with it as well is that, the higher frequency states, which is the kind of state that we tend to get in with, as I say, with our day-to-day life because of the stress that we're living, leads to these high cortisol levels, which also leads to inflammation in the body. So anything that we can do that lowers our cortisol levels is going to be very beneficial for us. So, I run the programs purely for that, and you find it makes you much more relaxed, and that's got to be beneficial for you. Okay, guys, so, get your Binaural Beats app downloaded. As I say, I can thoroughly recommend it. Let me know how you get on with it, and I wish you all the best with it, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care now.